settling down, but we're still going strong. This is round number 7. We got yet another feature match. We got 2 exciting decks. Today, I think in 6 rounds, we had like 10 different decks. And we're trying to keep going with that record. We got 2 more interesting decks in this feature match. First, let's bring him in. Siemen from Belgium. Is that Belgium? Yes. Siemen, come over here, please. Hello, how are you doing? Fine. How was your travel here? How did you get here?
I get here by bus. It was a 7-hour drive, so it was pretty rough.
Okay. Did you recover from that 7-hour drive?
Yeah. I didn't sleep a long time on the bus, only 1 hour, and then Friday I sleep very well, so it's okay.
So today you're doing okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got a respectable record.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't expect to go so well.
All right, and now you have the feature match. How are you feeling about the feature match?
Well, it's the first time and I'm a little bit nervous, but I think it's going to be all right.
All right. It's going to be all right, don't worry. Please have a seat, thank you very much. His opponent is going to be Nick. Nick, let's come up here. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good, yeah.
You're one of the many players of the UK, right?
Yes, I'm from the UK, yeah.
Do you have a theory why we have 900 players from the UK this weekend?
The UK player base is growing strong. It's really good right now. Regionals are getting bigger, so everybody wants to play.
Tell me something about your locals. Like, what's it like there?
Yeah, my locals is good. It's starting to get quite big now. So we used to get a small number, so like 4 rounds, but now we're getting 30 plus players. So we actually have 5-round locals, possibly even 6 consistently. So it's a lot. It's really good.
And doesn't that help you prepare for a larger tournament when the tournaments in your locals are getting larger, of course? And do you feel like you're ready for the YCS?
I think my locals is good. Yeah, it's really good. We have a few players that have topped our nationals, so it's good testing. It's good atmosphere for that. And I felt okay in terms of preparation for the YCS, but the last week I was quite busy, so I didn't get. So the last week I basically had no testing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was quite awkward.
It seems like it's working out really well for you as well, also with an undefeated streak so far. So, do you know what you're going up against here? Do you know your opponent or not at all?
I don't know who. I've never met him before.
Right.
I think I know the deck.
Okay.
I'm not too sure, but we'll see.
All right, we'll see for sure. Please have a seat. Now it is time for the all-important die roll. You guys know this can be important. Please take your best shot. Siemen, maybe Nick, go first. Yeah. So Nick is rolling a 5. This is a loaded dice. Another 5. Okay, we have to go again. There's a 4 for Nick, and that is the 1 for Siemen. So Nick can get to decide if you want to go first. He wants to go first. All right, Nick is going first against Siemen. With that, guys, you got all the information in. Our judges are going to get busy right now, setting these guys up for the feature match. And with that, let's take you guys over to Dom and Tom, our dynamic duo at the feature table.
Great. Thank you, Ollie. Thanks for that. Yes, we're just about ready for round 7 here at YCS London. Siemen with the long travel, Tom. That resonates with me. I can remember 1 or 2 journeys, long journeys all over the UK in a car for 6 or 7 hours. Scotland, a couple of times going up there.
I don't think I ever went to Scotland for a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament.
Yeah. And what about yourself? Got any long trips or anything over for YCSs?
Yeah, I mean, I've gone to a lot of European ones, which can take quite a while. I think getting to Rimini is very hard, and I've been there twice.
Yeah, Rimini. I remember you have to fly into Bologna, and then you have to get like a
Something
long.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you get to stay with family there, Dom?
Not quite. We're in the south, where the good food is.
All right.
So Nick mentioned something there that was made me quite proud, actually, because I think the UK community has grown. I think Yu-Gi-Oh in general has grown over the years that I've been involved with it. But in particular in the UK, I can see the growth. I don't know about you. I mean, from your experience playing locals or your experience with the community, do you get that feeling that Yu-Gi-Oh has grown quite significantly in the UK?
Honestly, I've not been to a locals in a fair amount of time, so I'm not sure I'm the best person to say.
Okay, fair enough.
How do you feel?
Well, I can imagine my personal experience was that, yes, actually it's grown quite significantly. The story of playing the extra round, for example, that is something that I'm quite familiar with as being a former TO, as you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, quite popular.
Should we get to it?
I think we're just about ready. The players are there, so let's head on over to the table.
Nicholas playing the Goki deck,
Yep.
who has won the dice roll and is able to start, and he's very confidently dropped that magical midfield breaker, which stops potential interruptions from your opponent. So in Siemen's deck there are 3 copies of Ash and 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. So the midfield breaker will stop any potential copies of Infinite Impermanence, but he doesn't have any, and he has got the Ash.
And he was really racing through
He
there.
was.
Do you see how quick he dropped that spell card and then straight away into the Link Summon?
So
Nick looks eager to get on with this,
does.
it seems. Eager to get on with it.
I think that Ash might put the brakes on a little bit.
Is there an optimal point in this? You've played against the Goki matchup
I've played
quite
with
a lot.
the Goki deck. I've played against the Goki deck. I think you just Ash now, if I'm honest.
Are you?
Yeah, and here we go.
There it is.
I mean, he's still got a lot of cards. So one of the nice things about the effects of the Goki monsters is obviously they replace themselves. You can use them as link materials, but if you get interrupted, you can just do it all again next turn. Goki, I think one Goblin left the picture. It's now like a very precise deck to do all the combos. It's actually quite difficult to know what to do in all the situations with Goki. So it might be, if he's 6-0, he's presumably quite skillful at piloting the deck. So it'd be interesting to see him pull out some precise combos.
And how do we feel about Siemen and the dinosaur? How the dinosaurs deck? That saw a lot of play a couple of years ago, didn't it?
It did. So there was a card, True King, that was banned.
Yep.
That was very powerful in it. The Earth True King that let you destroy up to 2 monsters, including an Earth monster. You could destroy one of the baby dinosaurs, trigger their effects, and then you could banish 3 cards from your opponent's extra deck. So that was a pretty good card. And I think that going really hurt the dinosaur deck. He appears to be running some new of the Dino Wrestler cards, and I don't actually know what all of the Dino Wrestler cards do, so should we get some of them up for people who might also not know what they do, like World Dino Wrestling?
Yep,
so he just sent that to the grave with Foolish Burial Goods. Should we get it up? So its graveyard effect is if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can add a Dino Wrestler monster from your deck to your hand.
So obviously this is included in the latest...
Oh no, it's special summons of Dino Wrestler monster from your deck.
So yeah, obviously this is included in the latest set, Soul Fusion.
So we have been seeing this Dino Wrestler Prankotrops as this versatile out to many different cards. But in the dinosaur deck in particular, I assume that the Dino Wrestler is a dinosaur, it's pretty good. And we might see a pretty swift OTK so what else has he got in his hand? Yeah, can he just summon another Ultimate Conductor Tyranno?
Plenty of monsters on the field.
Plenty of juice going on here, yeah. So yeah, I mean, Tyranno is such a powerful tool for OTKing with that. I mean, his opponent's only got 1 monster, so he's not going to be able to use the effect to attack every monster. But even so, it's got 3,500 attack. Like, that's nearly half.
That's a pretty significant attack to be fair.
That's a pretty beefy attack, and when you have 2 of them, I don't think I'm not sure they've correctly interpreted the effect of Midfield Breaker there, but it doesn't really matter. Midfield Breaker, I believe, says that it's got quite a confusing text, but I believe it says that the turn player's monsters cannot be targeted during that turn player's main phase 1. Oh no, I might be wrong. It says neither player can target monster opponent controls during main phase 1. But equally, it doesn't really matter. He had game regardless.
And
that was pretty quick. I think that's
swift as anything.
Game.
Yeah. I cannot believe that. They
went
really
bang, bang, bang.
Swarmed the field.
Nick went, Ash, I stop. And then Siemen went, great. It's quite nice to see decks which OTK fast, you know?
They were roaring there, that's
a lot
for
of
sure.
decks can pull out an OTK, but
that was
OTK
quick.
within like 2 minutes is not something every deck can do.
So moving on to game 2, let's have a look at the side decks.
Let's have a look. I mean, to me, if you're running Goki, and this build of Goki looks like it's sort of more than happy going first, so I get the feeling that all of his side deck cards are about going second. So he's got some hand traps, he's got some spell and trap removal, he's got some cards to deal with the powerful Thunder Dragon monsters.
That's the Book of Eclipse, right?
The Book of Eclipse, but none of this is really going to help him going first. If you're going first, you just want to resolve the combos. I think it's going to be a very quick, Nick doesn't want to side anything.
So we're thinking that Nick's not going to put anything in. Nothing was specifically included to combat a dinosaurs deck.
Oh, no, not at all.
So, and if we look at Siemen...
Siemen, I'm guessing the hand traps are coming in. I'm guessing 2 Ogre, 2 Ghost Bell.
Okay.
So I think he knows what's... I think people are aware now of what Magical Midbreaker Field does and of the sorts of hand traps you're going to need to counter it. So Midbreaker Field stops Infinite Impermanence, for example. It stops Ghost Ogre, but it doesn't stop Ghost Burn. It doesn't stop Ash.
Fair enough. So they've just shuffled up.
Siemen
and
has actually sided in the Book of Eclipse, which does... not something I would have expected.
Okay.
I'm interested to see what he took out for that, but I guess I won't really know. Maybe he sided out the Midbreaker Field. But we're seeing no hand traps from Siemen's side, so Nick is going to sort of get the go-ahead, and he has a Goki Super X and a Goki Risk Scorpio, so that is essentially full combo.
And I saw the Divine
no.
Divine Sword.
Adding those cards to the hand actually makes it worse by a fair bit. Sword is fine to draw because you can just send another equip, and there's another equip in the deck for that purpose. But having Ibli in the deck, I think all of the combos still work with Ibli in the hand, but it's going to test his knowledge of how to combo off effectively with the deck.
But straight away again though, that's that special summon ability of the Gokis, the straight into the powerful Link monsters that they seem to be able to bring out.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think most people know how the Goki deck starts. So it's a fairly standard opening. You know, if you've got Super X, you summon Super X, summon another Goki.
Super versatile as well, aren't they?
I mean, given they just basically use their extra deck to do things. I mean, the monsters don't really... The
Themselves,
Goki monsters themselves, they just search other
search.
Goki monsters. So the extra deck is your toolbox.
So lots of materials for lots of extra deck monsters.
Yeah, so I think Siemen was just asking to verify what was the card someone added off as old, because that's the one that he's not going to be able to use for the rest of the turn. And I think it was the Super X. So now Super X can't be used, but that's alright because he's already used its effect anyway. So he knows now. I think by this point, you know, you're just kind of going on. It doesn't look like he's going to get interrupted with anything. So the only thing, yeah, honestly, I haven't played this deck so much recently without the Goblin to know what he's going to do with the Ibli in his hand. Because having the Ibli in your hand makes a fair difference.
And taking the Nightmare Goblin out, how does the Goki position itself against the rest of the field, do you think?
I mean, I don't think it makes a huge difference to the game plan of the deck. It just makes the combos a little bit weaker. Oh, he plays 2 Ibli. Ah, okay. That makes drawing Ibli significantly less of a problem when you just have another one in the deck. There you go. That's how he's going to get around it. He doesn't need to know any special, interesting combos. He just plays 2 Ibli. I think once you see the Firewall Dragon's effect resolve for the first time, you know you're not getting interrupted. So now it's just up to him what board he wants to end on. So you've got the extra link, you've got Gumblar. So depending on how well you know the deck and how strong your hand is, you might be able to end with Gumblar extra link, you might be able to end with Gumblar Trigate extra link. Yeah, that's the real sort of pinnacle of what you can do with the Goki deck, is ending with the Trigate and the extra link and the Gumblar discarding 4 from your opponent's hand, which is obviously an incredibly powerful opening.
I mean, Nick seems super confident and super familiar with this deck.
I feel like he's practiced it before, you know.
Is there ever an element of having played the deck for so long and being so familiar with it that you play so quickly that a mistake can be made? Do you ever experience that, even in playtesting?
I feel like if you're playing fast, it's normally because you know what to do. I don't think I would be playing fast if I didn't know what I was doing.
Yep.
I think sometimes you might feel like because you have to go fast, because you know maybe you're in a feature match, there's a judge watching, so if they think you're playing too slowly, so if you're playing a normal game and you might be playing a little bit slower than your opponent wants to, then they'll call the judge over the first time, and the judge will tell you, the judge might say, okay, I'm going to watch you now and you need to play faster in future. Whereas if the judge is watching straight away, you might be a bit scared the judge is going to jump in and tell you off, which can be a little bit intimidating, and it's easier to make a mistake if you're playing faster than you want to. But no, he seems to know what he's doing here. So it looks like he's going to.
The field is pretty impressive.
The field is pretty large. So it looks to me like it's going to be a Gunblar for 4 with no Tri-Gate. But let's see. So now he's thinking a little bit about whether he's going to use the Firewall Dragon effect. I mean,
let's have a look at what's left in his hand as well.
Sure. So he's got plenty of monsters. None of them are Octastretch. So maybe... Oh, no, there is an Octastretch. I think the hand's just not loaded up. So if I think he's probably figuring out whether he can end up with a Tri-Gate as well as the Gunblar for 4. So he can just summon the Octastretch now, use the Gunblar effect to discard 2, and then during the opponent's standby phase, summon back Link Karibo from his graveyard next to Firewall and then discard 2 more. And that's, from this position, is... Well, it seems to be what he's going for. And then he could try and figure out how to go further, but I don't see that he can, but I might be wrong. So no, I think he's just going to add the sword in preparation for next turn.
And all the while, Siemen is staring down this opponent's field. He's seeing his opponent go off like this. Okay, I'm pretty sure he's seen this before, but looking at his hand, what's he thinking, Tom?
What's he thinking? I don't know what he's hoping to draw at this point, because
Does he know at this point that it's really hard for him to, really break that field?
I mean, it's not only you have to break the field, but you have to break the field with 2 cards out of your opening 6. It's pretty insane what this deck can do. I feel like with Goki now, once Gunblar came out, the strategy of responding to what your opponent is doing it faded away, really. It was now you had to stop what they were doing. So before Gunblar came out, you saw like a lot of people citing Ra Sphere mode to say, right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let you do your whole board, and then I'm going to summon a Sphere mode and get rid of it. But now with Gunblar, if you let them run free, essentially, then you'll have no cards left at all. Yeah, you can't really come back even with the Sphere mode, because then you only have 1 card left. So we're going to see... I mean, Siemen does have the Miscellaneousaurus, so he's going to have to discard it, but it's not going to be as devastating discarding the Miscellaneousaurus, because it's got a graveyard effect. But I'm not sure he's going to be able to make such good use of the graveyard effect. But I guess we'll wait and see. I mean, even so, he's even then got the Ibli. Ibli can't be linked away because he's got no extra deck zones available. So
it's a pretty
intimidating setup here from Nick. Yeah. So the only thing you can actually do with the Ibli is crash the Ibli, as far as I can tell. So this is one of those situations. So he's got the double evolution pill in his hand, and in theory you could banish the Ibli for cost, but the Ibli's effect prevents you from actually activating the double evolution pill in the first place. Even though it would resolve properly, the game doesn't allow you to activate it when you have a card which prevents you from summoning monsters which aren't link monsters.
So yeah, you see him really just trying to come up with a plan here.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think there is a good plan given the tools he has available to him. So, Conductor Tyranno has got this really powerful disruptive effect, which sets all the monsters your opponent controls, but you can't sell link monsters. Sad times.
They cannot change their battle position, can they?
They cannot go to defense. I think it would have been really cool if link monsters could have gone to defense, and then it would have changed the direction of their link arrows.
We were having a discussion about this, and from the anime, when the anime first mentioned it, we were like, I wonder whether or not at some point there will be some sort of development to change that. But because for that exact reason you said, it would completely open up another level of exactly where, it's very strategic. You have to make sure you position a link monster in the right position. Once it's summoned, You can only then link to the arrow, the position the arrows are pointing to. And that would have been such an extra dynamic. So I think there were a lot of people thinking a similar thing to you.
You'd have to decide which way a monster has to go into defense mode, which I don't think anyone's decided yet.
Well,
whether it has to turn left or right.
I think it would just be amazing dynamic and strategy to add to the game, but it looks like
I'm interested why. I don't know. It kind of seems odd to make a little play, not see any new cards from your opponent, and then concede.
Yeah, it looks like Siemen just was trying to draw out information. Maybe, I don't know, but
maybe
he takes the game. Nick takes the game.
The effect of Nightmare Mermaid and tried to attack over it, because maybe he thought he could attack over the mermaid and undo the extra link, but he could not because it reduces the attack.
But we're one apiece heading into game 3. Pretty sure Nick will be.
I mean, he'll be fairly happy. That was a fairly dominant game. So I think now Siemen's got the option
to go first.
Do
we think he does that with that deck?
I feel like this dinosaur deck looks like it wants to go second, but I think
having seen what
because Goki is so powerful
yep.
at going first, then you might choose to want to give yourself any chance to set up those extra interruptions.
Yep.
So in particular, I actually think the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is a really good interruption against Goki, because they have to just summon 2 monsters that are not tokens to try and link with. So if you set them both face down, all of a sudden it becomes super hard for the Goki deck.
Yep. So we're about to find out. They're just shuffling up and getting ready for round 3 of this. Match 3, should I say.
So, well, game 3?
Game 3.
Yeah, I think if he can set up a Conductor Tyranno, then that's going to be a really powerful obstacle.
So they're just loading the cards into the app for us.
So we'll see whether his hand is capable
frantically looking for the cards. And we see Nick has already got a couple of those Goki monsters in hand, ready to go off. Siemen opens with the Ash Blossom.
Scorpio Super. That was exactly the same 2 cards that were loaded in first in the last game. In fact, and Ibley.
But the Ash Blossom.
The Ash. Oh, he's chosen to go second. Aha.
So we could see that being a pivotal card, right?
Yeah, Ash is a very powerful card against a very powerful interruption. I mean, this more or less completely plays around the Ash. Because, I mean, so one of the things that I found when I played the Goki deck was drawing the Suprex allowed you to play around a lot of hand traps because it let you get 2 Goki monsters on the field straight away. So even so if he uses the Ash at the same point here,
he'll have a second.
He's already got a Goki monster on the field that he was going to summon, so I don't really know what you do. Honestly, I think the Ash is just, it's almost useless. So he's just going to Ash now, and he's going to be like, all right, well, I'm already in the situation I would have been if you hadn't Ashed it and I hadn't had the Super X. So drawing that Super X is so powerful.
Yeah, you can see Nick's
very happy.
It seemed like he was unfazed almost by the Ash.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be totally fine with that,
completely moving on swiftly with the combo.
And in fact, it's just got 1 extra card out of Siemen's hand.
Yep.
So now Siemen's going to have 1 less card to try and break the board next turn. And when your hand is, going to be decimated by 4 cards.
And that Goki rematch
Every 1 card counts. So I think we're going to be seeing a bit of deja vu because he's just going to build away, right? Exactly the same setup as he did last game.
Yep. He's going to start building that field.
So I think maybe the speed will increase.
Yeah, he's really rapidly going through the...
So again, once you see the no response to firewalls effect, then you're like, I'm good.
Firewall Dragon's a very powerful card,
Firewall Dragon is a card which people often reserve their interruptions for. And there's nothing really else you're going to negate. Like, this is the last point your opponent would play an interrupt, I think. So I feel like he's probably like, great, I'm not getting interrupted now. Now I'm going to do all of my combo.
And he's just building that board, isn't he? That field is just getting more and more presence, let's put it like that.
Has he not already used the effect of Octastretch? I don't know. Oh, no. The Isolde got ashed, so he's not used the effect of Octastretch.
And looking at Siemen you know, we can see that it's going to be a real difficult position for him. Is there anything from his deck that he can draw which might be able to change? Can we have a look through that deck and see if
Yeah,
there's
I mean,
anything?
he has got Foolish Burial in his hand. And Foolish Burial can send a card, and I should know the name of the card, Overtext Coatless. And that can search a double evolution pill, which can summon a Tyranno. And Tyranno attacks all the monsters your opponent controls once each. And it's got 3,500 base attack, so it can attack over the mermaid. And then it's no longer losing 2,000 attack, and then it can attack over the other mermaid, and then it can attack over the rest of the board. So the only shoe in that plan will be that he might be left with an Ibli on his side of the field. And if he is, then he won't get to use his battle phase to clear his opponent's board. And there's another shoe in the plan, which is Nick's just drawn Called by the Grave, so that will negate the Overtext Coatless in the graveyard as well. So
it's a very strong position for Nick. He's just working his way through, isn't he?
He's going to be staring down this board. He's going to be staring down an extra link. He's going to have
There's
that
the
Ibli, and he's going to have one card to do it with, which is not very many cards, really. I don't think he should summon
It's
Octostretch
quite an
now.
intimidating position, isn't it?
He has summoned Octostretch. I think that was not correct. Unless he's got another Octostretch. Interesting. If he'd just summoned the Gamma Seal first, and then the Octostretch. Oh no, he's got another Octostretch in his hand. Okay, okay, we're good. I was worried. But crisis averted. I think he should have just kept the Gamma Seal, to be honest. Don't know. Yeah, because he wants to have the Octostretch now.
And you can see those two cards.
But he's now, I suppose he might be able to set up a Trigate. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So here we go. This is kind of ultimate board. So he's going to be, his opponent's going to have one card, and he's going to be staring down a Trigate Wizard, which can negate anything.
Yes, Trigate is an extremely useful link monster.
Indeed. It does quite a lot. Even its first effect is coming in relevant now, the double battle damage. So yeah, how do you beat a Trigate with one card? That's a good question. How do you beat a card that can negate any card with only one card?
What did he draw?
Does it matter?
I'm not sure, Tom. It does. But
we'll see how it goes. How do you set down? Oh, this is pretty brutal. I mean, we know there's an FTK deck running around, but I mean, what's an FTK to having having one card against a Trigate anyway? It's completely insane, this board from Nick.
And how do we feel about the Goki, the deck? Do we feel like it's a real good?
It is a powerful deck. I think people have kind of... The Goki engine is a powerful engine. In the US now, because of Summon Sorceress, you can kind of just do everything with just Malicious and some cool Dark monsters, and they seem to be more popular.
Yep.
In the EU, we don't have Summon Sorceress, so maybe we feel like the Goki package is still needed, or in this case, the entire Goki deck is still needed to be able to do all of these powerful boards. So we see Siemen did choose to keep it, and I'm guessing he'll just negate that with Trigate because he's got no other cards. So yeah.
Very, very, very strong position for Nick here.
This is an insane board.
It's just, how do you
deal with it?
Yeah.
So we've got, I mean, he can just banish the Ibli now with Trigate, and then I don't know if he's got 8,000 damage on the board. I guess he'll have to count that. That doesn't do any more damage unless he gets the... Okay. Oh, is he going to make Boral Sword as well, just for jokes? What a joker. Boral Sword for more than 8,000.
And there's the handshake. So the Goki deck taking the win and taking the match 2-1. Let's head over to the... Let's head for the post-match analysis. We have it. Luke takes the win 2-1. Started off pretty well for Siemen with the Dino.
Yeah, that was a pretty rapid OTK game one from the Dinosaur deck.
Blisteringly quick. He just
completely shut his opponent down with the one copy of Ash.
Yep, and then massive dinosaurs that.
But then we saw almost the same situation, but in game 3, Nick's hand was just strong enough to basically just ignore the ash.
Exactly, yes. And you could see that he was just... The field presence was just immense. Looking at the field, let's talk about the breakdown here. If we go to the country breakdown, we can see that at the beginning of the event there were over 900 UK players.
So how are our UK contingent performing?
Yes. So moving on to round 7.
Oh dear.
We can see that
We've
the
been
field,
cut in half.
Indeed, the field has been halved down to 432.
I feel like that's fairly standard, because when you go to a YCS in your home country, if you're traveling to a YCS that probably from a different country, that indicates that you're a more serious player.
Yes.
So you're probably more competitive. You're going to test more. You're going to practice more. Whereas a lot of people from the UK, they might think, oh, it's my good chance to try out my first YCS. And there's probably the time where you're not going to be aiming to do as well in your first event, and you get a lot more players from the home country doing that than players from other countries, so it kind of makes sense.
Let's look at the other countries, actually. If we go to...
which country is performing the best?
So, again, there was that 900 for the UK. There's 200 for Germany, 95 for Italy, 70 for France. Going back to round 7, as we just did...
There we go.
That German transition there is pretty impressive. It's half of them as well. The Italians from 90 to 76.
They're doing pretty well.
That's huge. So they're still in the game. And the French have gone from 75, I believe it was, to 50. So we can see that there's a high turnover of the other Europeans as well. As mentioned, an indication as to the competitive players progressing well throughout this tournament.
Yeah, I would fully expect, if you're traveling to the UK from somewhere else, that indicates a level of seriousness, right? So
there we are. So we've seen that the match was taken by Nick, and he's now standing by with Oliver. So we're going to head over to the match table.
Well, thank you very much, Tom, our dynamic duo on the caster table. We're here with the winner of our round. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It was the first larger feature match for you. You said you were a little bit nervous going into this.
Yeah, a little bit.
How are you feeling now?
Feeling great. Yeah, it's good.
So, what was the experience like? The first game was a bit of a... Yeah. I don't think that felt too nicely when the dinosaurs went chomp chomp.
Yeah, I got ashed on my Zold, and I didn't draw any other extenders, so I passed. I just have to hope he can't kill me. And it's dinosaurs, they usually can, so I was expecting that. As soon as he put a dinosaur down, I was like, yeah, I'm probably dead.
Right, and after that first game, did you then think, okay, this is going to happen again? I'm not going to win this, or did you try to motivate yourself somehow?
No, I just thought just stick to my plan of go first, combo, see what happens. If I draw enough extenders, I can play through the hand traps anyway. And otherwise, if my combo resolves, I should win. Win. So.
And then the second and the third game was smooth sailing for the most part. What do you think about the matchup, Goki versus dinosaurs?
Well, I wasn't like his dinosaur build is not the ones I'm sort of used to. I'm used to playing against like diagram dinosaurs, and he made me go first game 3, so that was strange. It didn't really affect my plan. So, but I think the matchup is if I combo, I win. So, but that's the same with most of my matchups.
I was about to say, I heard this before. Players talking about Goki, that if you go first, your combo goes off, basically won. How well positioned do you think is the deck in this field this weekend?
Depends how many dice rolls you win.
Is it only about that?
Well, no, it's not only about that, because against Sky Striker, my deck is built to beat Sky Striker going second, because you play mid-breaker, and there's a cool combo you can do where you start doing the full combo, you make Binary Sorceress, you pump up your Boral Sword, and then you make Trigate so it does double damage, and you attack for 8,000 in one attack. So,
did that happen this weekend?
Yeah, a couple of times.
A couple of times. All right, so seems like that strategy is playing out quite well for you. If you had the chance to change anything about your deck right now after those 7 rounds, what would you change?
Maybe the side. The side has not been used fully. I've got a lot of back row hate, and I'm not playing against too many Sky Strikers now. I'm playing against more combo decks. But I think the main deck's fine. It is 41 in the main, which I'd like it to be 40, but I'm playing 2 Ibli, and there are 2 equipped spells, so there are 4 cards you don't want to draw, so 41's fine, really.
Okay, well, maybe somebody saw something on the Twitch chat, they're going to point it out for you. But for the most part, it seemed like players were giving you credit, like going through this, going through the motions, and it certainly seemed like you had a very good grip on the deck. How did you prepare for the event then?
I started playing Goki 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Having never played it last format without Goblin, because I was on Trickstar Sky Striker for the entirety of last format. I tried to play that deck, didn't work, so I was like, we're going to learn this, see what happens, and then the YCS Niagara results came in, and I didn't have any more time to test because I was super busy that week with work, so I was like, well, I've got to stick to what I've tried, so...
Well, sometimes if you're like 2 steps ahead of the competition, you're actually falling behind.
Yes.
So it seemed like maybe not the best choice going into the event, but now it's turning out really well for you so far.
Yeah. If I keep getting either win dice rolls or not get hand trapped so much, then maybe I can do it. So.
All right. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed for you that you keep winning those dice rolls. This is the strategy for the weekend for Nick. We're definitely going to see you tomorrow. Did you expect that going into the tournament?
No, because I didn't even book a hotel. I've got to get a train home or stay at. I think a friend is found me a place to stay. So yeah, it's a bit last minute.
Okay. Yeah, talk about last minute. It's like 8 p.m. at the moment. So good luck to you, good sir, that you figure something out. And we're going to see you tomorrow. All right, guys, with that, this was round number 7. We got one more in store for you guys. This is our casual Kuribo round 8. This will make sense once we're entering round 8. With that, we're going to take a very quick break, and then we're going to be right back with the last Swiss round for today.